Hey guys, it's Jeremy here at Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. What I have today, guys, is my top 10 thrash albums of 2023. I just recently posted my top 10 death metal albums, so definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. It's the video just previous to this. So yeah, it was a pretty good year for thrash metal. Honestly, I think death metal took the cake though. It was definitely the year of death metal, in my opinion, where it was the strongest subgenre. But thrash has always been my favorite subgenre, so I had to put together a list for thrash metal specifically. So let's jump right in, guys. At number 10, I went with the newest one from Ex Mortis, Necrophony. Really good album, blistering speed, great guitar riffs, great instrumentation, great composition, really memorable songs. I haven't listened to this album quite as much as some of the others. I think that's why it's a little bit at the bottom of my list. But I think if I had a little bit more time to digest it and listen to it, I would have been a little bit higher. Every time I do go back and put it on, it's really, really good. Number 9, I went with Terrifier from the west coast of Canada. Really good band. Kind of bring back that 80s Bay Area thrash kind of sound. Really good riffing, just straight up thrash, in your face, headbanging, just everything you want from a thrash band. These guys should be a lot bigger than they are, in my opinion. And this is their third studio album entitled Trample the Weak and Devour the Dead. Just a really good band. They never disappoint. I always buy all their albums as soon as they come out. At number 8, I went with Sadis's new album entitled, The Shadow Inside. First studio album released from these guys since 2006. And they left off where they continue where they left right off. Super aggressive, in-your-face thrash metal. Really kind of aggressive vocals. Really memorable riffs. Sorry guys, my camera's slipping. Really memorable riffs, just really good memorable songs, and it didn't disappoint. After a long hiatus, I really enjoyed this album, and it definitely stood out to me for this year. At number 7, I went with the latest from Raider, another local band to me, in the Kitchener-Waterloo area in Ontario, Canada. They're like a thrash death metal band. Really aggressive sounding stuff. This is their second album entitled Trial by Chaos. Really good songs, like I said, good composition. I think I like the songs overall a little bit more on the debut. But this album, I find they did kind of mature a little bit in their songwriting. The composition is a little bit more cohesive. But overall, I think I prefer the songs overall on the debut. But this definitely shows improvement in other ways. And it's a killer album. Loved it. At number 6, I went with the all-female Thrashers, Nervosa. Super aggressive thrash from these ladies. They're kind of bordering on death metal. This is their 5th studio album entitled Jailbreak. The only lasting member is Prika, who took over vocals on this album. She does a really good job, sounds really good. And the last 2 albums have had a complete lineup change outside of Prika, and somehow they didn't miss a beat, and they just cranked out another killer album. Really loved their last album, and this one did not disappoint. It was really solid stuff. At number 5, I went with the latest album from Solis entitled A Sign of Things to Come. It's their 6th studio album overall. Really love this band. Really solid stuff. All their releases are great. This one has some moments where they kind of sound samey, but I love this album. I always listen to it front to back all the time. And just really killer stuff. At number 4, that's my cat, sorry, I'm going to get him down. At number 4, I went with Scorched by Overkill. Their 20th studio album, if you can believe that, guys. 20 albums these guys have cranked out. Really consistent band. This one didn't disappoint. Definitely had some more elements of groove and melody in it, which I really enjoyed. It was kind of a nice change of pace for these guys. But really killer thrash, still a lot of speeding riffs in there, up-tempo stuff. And Bobby Blitz sounds as good as he ever has. They never disappoint. Freaking Overkill killed it. Number 3, I went with a lesser-known band from Pakistan, of all places. Their band is called Tabahi, and their album is Thrash for Justice. This is their 2nd studio album. Fucking love this band. I've been listening to this album. One of my most listened to albums of this year, to be honest. Just classic old school thrash metal, Bay Area sounding, and they kind of infused some of the Teutonic style from Germany as well. The riffs are just kind of straightforward and simplistic, but effective and thrashy, and just everything you want from a thrash album. The rhythms are just contagious and headbanging, and the vocals sound a little bit more on the screechier side, kind of like Smear from Destruction, or the lead singer from Creator a little bit. So if you think that combination would sound great, definitely check these guys out. You can purchase their stuff, their new album, over at CD and Records. I would strongly recommend to pick this up. You won't be disappointed. At number 2, I went with the mighty Hellripper, third studio album entitled Warlocks, Grim and Withered Hags. Another great release from James, one-man project out in Scotland. This guy is a freaking masterpiece after masterpiece, and his albums have consistently made my year-end list and the top 5 on top of that, 5 or 6. And this did not disappoint. Killer strong album. They're more of a black and speed metal band, kind of black and thrash. They're close enough. A lot of elements sound very thrashy. Nice blackened vocals on this. Songs are memorable. They kind of remind me of a blend of like Venom and like Motorhead blended together. I fucking just love it. Just the sound of it is raw and has so much aggression and speed. Just always loved this band, and this album kicked ass. And at number 1, I had to go with the newest one from Enforc. This album's been kicking my ass since it came out. It's entitled War Remains. It's their third studio album. Super aggressive, like just pummels you in the face, like super, super aggressive thrash metal, kind of bordering on death. And these guys are fucking amazing. They are pretty big. Like most people know Enforced at this point, but they should be a massive band, headlining major tours and stuff. Like this band is just fucking amazing. If you just love a super in-your-face thrash metal album, put an album on for 30 or 40 minutes that rips your head off and then leaves, this is the band for you. So Enforced, number 1 for me. And, for honorable mentions, some people might be thinking, well, where's Metallica? I don't really consider the new Metallica album to be like a thrash album. I know they're like definitely a thrash band overall, but the new album to me was more of a traditional metal, hard rock album with a slight thrash elements here and there. But really solid album from Metallica. I did enjoy it, but didn't quite make the list. I considered it more of a hard rock album. And Invicta was another one that didn't quite make my list. They're kind of more bordering on the death metal sound, but it was a really good album as well. That one did make my list as well. Those are the only 2 off the hand I can really think of that didn't quite make the list. But let me know down below, guys, what your favorite thrash albums of 2023 are. I definitely want to hear any albums that you guys mentioned that I might not have heard of. I'm always being introduced to new thrash bands I haven't heard of. So please leave some comments down below of some bands I should check out or albums from this year that I didn't list here. So thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned this weekend. Hopefully for my year-end list, I should have it up by this weekend, I'm hoping. And until next time, guys, keep it metal.